remember when I first moved along the lakeshore, and I'd be trying to find someone's house, and like you'd have their house number, and you'd be driving on a street, and all of a sudden the street would just like stop. And because I wasn't familiar with the area, I didn't realize that there'd be these roads that would stop and pick up on the other side of a lake or a river or something like that. And so I'd be driving, and I'd be like, well, where's this address now? And I would oftentimes have a struggle navigating the area because I wasn't familiar with it. But then I would have friends and that would say, oh, okay, well, that's on the other side of the lake. And they would guide me and help me navigate the area. And, as we're talking about our relationship with God and growing our relationship with God, sometimes we need some people like that to help us, give us some guidance, some people that are familiar with that to show us the way. And so as we're thinking about our relationship with God, growing that by ourselves isn't always easy. We're designed for relationships, and it's great to have other people around us to help us grow our relationship with God. And as we're talking about the growth pathway today, we're talking about how we're better together. That we're not meant to do life alone. God designed us to live within relationships with Him and with each other. And so as we're thinking about being better together, what we're talking about is we're in these relationships where you help someone else and they help you, and together you're helping each other grow this relationship with Jesus. We all need people like that in our lives to help us grow. And when we're part of that, then we become part of something bigger than ourselves. And we get to see a better picture of who God is and how He designed us to experience our best life. So how do we do that? How are we better together? Today we're going to look at 4 different things that can help us take steps to be better together. It's not everything, but it's some things that can be like markers and guidelines for us to be on this growth pathway to grow our relationship with Jesus together. As we're thinking about this growth pathway to be better together, the first thing I want you to consider is prioritizing our Sunday services. Make it a priority to be here on Sundays for church. And we do that because it's a place where we can be encouraged and we can find support and we can keep focused on Jesus and His mission. As we go throughout the week, whether it's work or school or whatever we're going through, it's really easy to be maybe overwhelmed or just to lose focus or maybe to be stressed out or worried or discouraged. And Sundays is a chance for us to come together to find encouragement and support to keep focused on Jesus and who He is and what He wants to do in our life and the hope that we have in Him. It says in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, it says that we shouldn't stop meeting together. We need to keep meeting together so we can spur one another on. And that's what we want Sundays to be, this chance for us to spur each other on. Now, here at The Journey, we're really laid back, and we're not going to put guilt or pressure on anyone to be like, you have to be here on Sundays. We're not keeping track of, I noticed that you're not here this week and you get kind of a bad mark or whatever. We don't do stuff like that. But at the same time, I want you to know that what I have seen in people's lives is that the more consistent they are on Sundays, the greater steps they take with Jesus and the more they experience Him in their life. And so I'd really like to just encourage you, because we're better together, to prioritize our Sunday services, because it will help you find focus and encouragement and the support that you need. The next thing on the growth pathway is this idea of developing relationships where we help each other and help each other to follow Jesus. We might have a lot of friends. You might have friends from school growing up or just a lot of family and people around you, but do you have friends in your life that help you follow Jesus, that help you connect to Jesus and keep taking steps? We all need some people in our life that can encourage us to move in the right direction. Proverbs 13:20, it says that the wise walk with other wise people, but people who are friends or companions of a fool, they find harm. They suffer harm because of the people around them. Our friends definitely figure into our focus, and we need to have people that are encouraging us to follow Jesus. If you have anyone like that in your life, that is an encouragement for you to follow Jesus, that encourages you to keep taking steps. We need people like that in our life. And so if you're looking to take this step, a great place to start to build some of those relationships are on our teams. We encourage you to join a team, whether that's a volunteer team or a network team. You can begin to develop these relationships where you can encourage and support each other and help each other to take steps to follow Jesus. As we're thinking about the next marker to be better together, we've talked about developing these relationships where we help each other, and to take that another step further is this idea of forming a journey group. A journey group meets consistently with a smaller group of people with some intentionality to help each other take steps with Jesus.
a lot of times they form out of like our network teams or our volunteer teams, because you get a little bit of a taste of that in those teams. Like if you go to a connection night with our network teams, you have some dialogue where we talk about different things that we looked at for the past month in our series, and you kind of share what God is teaching you, and I think what you find is that you're not alone in your struggles, and you find some encouragement as other people are taking steps. It encourages you to keep taking those steps. Like if you've experienced that at a connection night, a journey group takes that to the next level by being consistent. It's a lot of the same idea. It's consistently meeting, supporting each other, encouraging each other, maybe praying for each other, reading the Bible together, things like that can help us each develop this relationship with Jesus and continue to take steps in that relationship. If you're thinking about forming a group, again, a great place is to begin in a network team or a volunteer team and to find some other people you'd like to connect with. Or if you have some people that you're thinking about connecting with, we have some guidelines and some things that can help you as you form a group. We provide questions every week to go along with the message, so that's something you can always do. And there's more help on our website under the Next Steps section or in the Next Steps Center online. You'll find information on how to start a journey group and what you can do in those. The whole idea, though, with a journey group is to meet consistently. Let's have an intentional focus to help each other continue to grow our relationship with Jesus, because we're better together. The last thing I'd like to talk to you about today in our growth pathway to be better together is this idea of helping someone else take their next step. I think what we find is that whenever we look beyond ourselves, whether that's being better together or any other area we've talked about in this growth pathway, when we take the focus off ourselves and put it on someone else, we begin to experience our relationship with Jesus in a new way, where He's working not just in us, but also through us. And we're better together when we help each other, right? And so when we consider someone else around us and how we can help them take their next step, we get to experience Jesus working in us and through us in a whole new way, in greater ways. And so we talk about this idea of helping someone else take their next step. It could be merely just listening to them, what they're going through. It might be encouraging them to take a step that you've already taken. It might be, if you're going to take a step, to invite someone to join you. Whether you're serving on a volunteer team or on a network team, it might be inviting someone to join you as you keep serving and taking steps there. It might be someone you're sitting next to on a Sunday, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Do you want to join me? And whatever you're going to be taking as your next step. But maybe it's even thinking back as you've been maybe taking steps with Jesus, you see someone that's in a similar spot where you began and saying like, hey, I've been where you're at right now, and I want to help you take your next step. I've been listening to you, and here's some encouragement that I found. Maybe that will be encouraging to you. It's really just about thinking about someone else besides ourselves, though. And so that's really where I want to leave you as we consider this last marker in this growth pathway to be better together, is thinking through like, who's someone you know that you could encourage, who you could listen to, who you could invite to join you as you take a step. Like, who's someone around you that you could help them take their next step. Today in our growth pathway to be better together, we talked about this idea of how we're designed to live in relationships, and we need people around us where you help them and they help you, and together we help each other so that we can follow Jesus in greater ways. So we talked about some markers along the growth pathway. We talked about this idea of prioritizing Sunday services so that we're here to find focus and encouragement that we need each week. We talked about how we could develop these relationships where we help each other. A lot of times it happens within our teams, volunteer or network teams. We talked about how we just need some people around us who are also following Jesus, so they're a good influence on us. We talked about this idea of forming a journey group. It's a way to have a consistent time where we're connected with people and we're helping each other follow Jesus. We also talked about looking beyond ourselves and helping someone else take their next step. And then we can really experience God working in us and through us, and we get to experience what it really means to be better together. So I'd like you to encourage you to think through those 4 different markers that we set in this pathway, and maybe just pick one and begin down this journey so that we can grow together. We hope as you continue to take steps into relationships with Jesus and each other, you'll get to experience how we actually are better together, and you'll be able to grow in your relationship with Jesus.